how seriously you taking the Brady to San Fran rumors?
100% serious, because Brady basically told us on the Jim Gray podcast. He said, hey, would you consider coming back? And he said this, and he went over here, and he went over there. So, Coach, this is what I call the boa constrictor problem. Here's what the boa constrictor problem is. If you ask me, hey, Wilds, you thinking about getting another dog? I'd be like, we're happy with the dogs we have. I do love dogs, but it's not the right time. But if you ask me if I was going to get a boa constrictor for a pet, a 12-foot boa constrictor in the home, you know what I would say? Absolutely not. What other questions do you have? And until Tom Brady says absolutely not, I'm not coming back, he has left the door open to come back. He doesn't want to be with the Bucs for whatever reason. I think obviously the Patriots, although I would like them to come back, is out. I think the Josh McDaniels thing that you've pitched has a little bit of juice, but to me, the one sort of hill that he has to climb is to what? It would be cool to play for my hometown, the team that I rooted for growing up, and kind of bookend my career with exactly how I fell in love with football. So I'm taking this 100% seriously. I don't believe that he's retired. I do think we're going to see him in a uniform again, and it could very well be with the 49ers.
Wow.
Well, I agree with you, Wild, that I don't think the door is completely shut, and I don't think that Tom was necessarily completely ready to retire, but he probably relented to family concerns and pressures and understands and appreciates the sacrifices that they've made. In terms of the fit in San Francisco, you could make the argument that he could appeal to his family for the opportunity to play for his hometown team, something that he's never been able to do. The thing that's difficult about that is when he goes to a place like San Francisco, it's the same issue that he had when he first got to Tampa Bay. It's not the system that he's run. It's not the system that he's been so good at and so effective in. So his ability to just step right in and produce the same results, it's not going to be able to happen. And how much would they be willing to change the system to accommodate him? That fit has got to work outside of just the fit of playing for his hometown team. I always go back to the idea of whether it's Josh McDaniels, whether it's the New England Patriots, maybe even the New York Giants, although the Giants are further away, going to a place where he can step in immediately and be effective in the system that he knows. That's his best opportunity to continue to be successful.
Okay, Coach, in my heart of hearts, I don't believe Tom Brady's coming back, so I'm not as optimistic as you guys are, but I hope he comes back. I'm taking this report seriously because I want to. I desperately want Tom Brady to come back because we're journalists, broadcasters, storylines, and drama are what we feed off of. So this would be a terrific storyline. And, Coach, obviously he went to Tampa Bay, and they won it in his first year. He didn't have his offseason to prepare. And, yeah, they tweaked things, as the season went on and then took off when he really got to make some adjustments. So I think the same thing could happen in San Francisco. I mean, if it's not going well early on in the season, I do think they would respect Brady enough to listen to him and make whatever changes he wanted to make. I think that story is delicious. All right, Tom Brady in San Francisco, hometown team. And, Coach, I think you'd agree with this. The weapons galore. I mean, the receivers, you got Kittle at the tight end, you got a run game, the
NFC
defense.
Favorites.
Total NFC favorites, and I think they'd actually be league favorites with Brady to win it. And then you got him trying to become the first quarterback ever to win it with 3 different teams. He'd win it with 3 different coaches. And that's where it also gets interesting because then he's now won it with 3 coaches. And Belichick, I assume next year they'll be okay, but not a Super Bowl team. And he will continue to kind of struggle without Tom Brady. And yet Brady's here flourishing with anybody you put on the sidelines next to him. So I just think that it would be awesome for us. and awesome for football. So hopefully, Nick, this is legit and he does come back.
And as you alluded to, but didn't outright say, Broussard, he would be doing what he's trying to do, which is, continue to follow the LeBron model. Win one in Florida, then go to California, 3 coaches, the whole thing. I mean, it's just, the only guy he's left chasing, obviously. I'm a little surprised that Wildes doesn't think that the news this week of Joe Judge coaching quarterbacks in New England isn't going to pull Brady in. That Brady's not like, oh, man, I got to find a way to get there. Nothing whets my football appetite like that. And I do hope this happens because it's good for the league. I think it'd be so great to see Kyle Shanahan with a quarterback of Brady's caliber after having to deal with Garoppolo. And it would give Mahomes a chance to get even in a Super Bowl. If he comes back, I want him to stay in the NFC because I want Mahomes to get another shot. However, I don't think he's coming back. And, Coach, I hope I'm not revealing the confidence here. But you used to dip, correct? Back in your coaching days, you used to chew tobacco. Hope I don't get you right. I would imagine maybe, okay. I would imagine your wonderful wife didn't love that habit, okay? I have a similar habit with Black and Miles, right? So, she doesn't love it. But she doesn't really come down on me about it. However, the times I have told her I'm quitting, and then she sees me a month later smoking again, she gets furious. So here's why I tell that story, and I would imagine you have a similar experience. If you retired to appease your family with the whole plan of all unretire, that's awful decision making. And Brady's not a bad decision maker. The idea that I'm retiring because Giselle wants me to, but then I'm going to renege on the retirement, I feel like is setting himself up for just hell. If he always wanted to come back, Coach, why did he retire? He didn't have to announce anything. He could have said, listen, I'm still considering all my options. Can you help me square that circle? Why announce the retirement if he was planning to come back?
Well, here's what I'll say about retirement and or changing a dramatic change of lifestyle. I remember when I got let go by Cleveland and suddenly I was home all the time and my whole family looked around and like, what are we going to do with this? This is a pretty dramatic change in lifestyle for all of us. And it was a little bit of the same way from my perspective. So maybe after Tom's been home for a little while, and I don't see this being a training camp type decision. I see Tom coming back in a role of more saving someone's season, or at the end of the year, a quarterback gets hurt. And that's why I really think it works better if it's a place where he's familiar with the system. But what you envision retirement to be and what they think that's going to be, it may be something totally different. And he may be really unhappy and for him to have another opportunity to pursue what his dream has been, I think it's hard for a spouse to begrudge someone that, because this window is gonna end just by Mother Nature. Right. It's not like he's going to continue to be able to unretire in his 50s.
All right, before we go to break, Coach, we've talked about a lot of teams. We talked about Brady going back to the Patriots. Oh, that would be nice. Staying with the Bucs. Oh, you won a Super Bowl there. Teaming up with his offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, or going to the 49ers, where he was at the catch as a little boy. He loves the 49ers. And then you just dropped a little take bomb. You're like, or somewhere like the Giants, and we kind of just kept the show moving. It's like, hold on, stop the train. Do you think the Giants could be a possible landing spot for Tom Brady if he comes out of retirement?
Well, the only reason I bring up the Giants is because of the offensive system. And I know Chris said that Tampa tweaked the system. They didn't tweak the system. They finally accepted, like, hey, we better run what Tom's good at if we want to win a lot of games. And they dramatically overhauled the system and gave him the ability to control the system. He would be able to walk into a place like the Giants or the Raiders and function at a high level immediately. That's the appeal. in terms of where the Giants are as a team, in terms of their talent level, I think they're going to have to go win a bunch of games before Tom may say, yeah, I could come in late in the season and help you guys out.
That is.
Well, if he does go to San Fran, the cherry on top, Niners set to host the Bucs in 2022. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.